Welcome back to another episode from The Lawyer You Know, and today we're going to break down the new stimulus package that has been approved by Congress. All right, so we have a new coronavirus stimulus package that's been approved by Congress, just waiting for the president's signature. Dad, why don't you tell us a little bit about what this stimulus package is going to give to the country?
Well, the most high-profile part of it is it's going to do $300 supplement to the unemployment payments that are received by those that file for unemployment.
So what you get paid plus $300.
Right.
Okay.
And it's going to give $600 directly to every person who makes under $75,000 a year.
And under the first stimulus package, it was $1,200?
$1,200 and $600.
So
right.
they cut everything in half, but they're going to roll it out again. How much is all this costing for us?
Approximately, the whole package is approximately $900 billion.
That's it. Okay.
Which is much less than the first one.
Yeah.
But this
Still
is also
unfathomable for a normal person.
And it's also rolled into the regular country budget because they had to approve a new budget to operate the government of $1.4 billion. I mean, $1.4 trillion dollars. But $900 billion we have just for stimulus.
Okay. What else is in the package?
Well, other things in the package is they've given some additional money for health care, some additional money for states and city government when they're dealing with healthcare providers or they have, for instance, a state hospital. They can give money for that. They did cut out, and this is part of the negotiations, the way things are made in Congress, like sausages. You've got Congress approving money for state and local government, but only for healthcare. What the Democrats wanted was government approval. Just give money to the state and local governments and they can spend it like they want. What the Republicans wanted was immunity for all businesses so they couldn't be sued for any coronavirus infections. Both of those were cut out as part of the compromise, and we're left with this, which is a lot narrower.
A lot narrower?
Well, narrower than it doesn't have the broad, in other words, it doesn't have the broad immunity, and it doesn't have the money going to the state and local
but you're
governments.
saying, but it has something in the middle.
It has something in the
some
middle.
immunity and
There's
some money.
there's no immunity.
Okay, so what's in the middle?
Totally cut out. But they have compromised and given some money to healthcare services provided by the state and local government.
I guess I don't understand where the give and take is there really. But all right, so what else? It's got money for unemployment addition. It's got a stimulus, just a check going out to the people. It's got healthcare, some bump in healthcare payments to the local governments or the state governments. What else do we have?
We've got money being given for rent subsidies, so that people that can't pay their rent, they can make an application to the government, and the government will give them some money to help them through this tough time.
Which will also help the landlords that are losing money by people not paying rent.
Right.
Because it's not just excusing their rent, it's actually the government paying the landlords for their rent or a portion of their rent.
We've got $82 billion going to colleges and schools to help them to continue. Distance education is expensive, and so they can be subsidized by the government. We've got $10 billion going to child care because, again, that
apparently... It's kind of general.
Well, you think about it. If people are going to go back to work and there are no schools open, it's all virtual schools, they have to have some kind of child care.
Right, but who does that go to?
They have to make application again. I'm sure it's individuals have to apply just like they did for other loans, saying they need child care and the government can supply them or subsidize their child care.
Okay, what else?
$1.4 billion is apparently hidden in here for the border wall. So President Trump's border wall is going to continue to be constructed to the tune of $1.4 billion. There's a water resource. It shows the way Congress does stuff. Water resources. There's $400 million in here for water resources.
400 million of 900?
400 million
of
900 billion.
Okay. I thought you said 400 billion. I was like...
No. The Army Corps of Engineers, they need help for floods. Well, they got some money out of this too so that they can help with the dikes and the dams they have to build to have flood control. Transit, mass transit, roads, highways. There's money in here for roads and highways and mass transit. So that's the way Congress puts together a bill. You get some of what you want, you get some of what I want. We'll take away some of the stuff you want. We'll take away some of the stuff I want, and you come up with $900 billion.
That's it. That's everything.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
There's no PPP edition.
There's no PPP edition. No.
So a lot of businesses were talking about, especially small businesses, talking about another paycheck protection program coming through on the second stimulus, but it doesn't look like we got that.
Well, one of the things you did get, there's, I guess say generally it's not the same thing, but theaters and outdoor music venues, they got stimulus money. So they can apply for
But
some
not
money.
restaurants and other small businesses.
Not right now, no.
Because a lot of the restaurants are getting shut down again. We see people going out making these rant videos talking about how is this possible for anybody to run a business. So there's nothing in this stimulus for them.
Nothing in there for them. However, Speaker Pelosi said that in 31 days, when Joe Biden comes in and becomes president, that we're going to have another stimulus package after
Okay, so it could be in that one.
So this is just a temporary, basically says this is the first step in this, that they're waiting for Joe Biden to become president.
And there's no general immunity. We've done a video on the COVID vaccine immunity for these drug companies, for the government. And that was something that was potentially going to be in this package, right?
Correct.
But it did not make it in there.
Did not make it in the package.
So there's no immunity in this stimulus package. What would that look like if it did come through a stimulus package put out by Congress?
Well, if you look at, they call it the SAFE Act that they were trying to pass. And if you look at that, it would make it much tougher for someone to sue on the coronavirus. For instance, they'd have to prove a direct, clear, and convincing connection between their employment and catching the virus.
So it's just purely for employers?
Yes, it would be, the burden would be on the individual to prove that their employer did it, as opposed to the employer having to defend himself.
Because in the video where we talk about the immunity that Pfizer and the drug companies have and where they get that immunity, we talk about the immunity that the government has and where they get that immunity. The hardest question was, can you sue your employer? And we said you'd not be likely to win as it is. Right. But if they would have put that immunity in the stimulus package, then it would also be impossible to sue your employer.
Yes.
And would it also cover workers' comp if it was in here? That would go away as well?
I don't think so, because workers' comp really isn't a lawsuit. That's an insurance policy.
Right, okay.
So I think it would be viewed differently.
So a $900 billion package that doesn't include a lot of things, or as much as a lot of America's citizens were hoping for or thinking would be in this package. So we'll see what the next one looks like. But that's another video from the lawyer you know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like this video, subscribe to our page, and we're going to continue putting out this content a couple times a week.